We're out on the property of Lancaster General Hospital doing a riparian restoration project today. It's being supported by Exelon Corporation, which provided funding for this, and the Pennsylvania Environmental Council, the Little Conestoga Watershed Association, and the Lancaster Conservancy. So there are a whole lot of groups out here working together, trying to improve this zone here along the stream and reduce the nutrient flows. The concept behind this project is a demonstration really about two major things that are important in this watershed and international. One is that we are trying to stop nutrients that would flow off a farm field into the stream system by putting in trees and other things that will absorb the nutrients. And those nutrients under the Chesapeake Bay tributary strategy by DEP actually have their credits, they have value. So Exelon was motivated in part because they wanted to capture those nutrient credit values. So that's part of the motivation for this. Another motivation is that when you plant trees, as they go through their cycle, they sequester or store carbon. And so this is another way to help store carbon and reduce the amount of carbon that's in the atmosphere and try to address climate change issues. Exelon gets to report that as part of their 1605B reporting for the Department of Energy. So they're being very innovative, very aggressive. The Pennsylvania Environmental Council is delighted to work with them and the other partners to make this happen.
There's a couple of reasons why Exelon was involved in this tree planting project. We wanted to restore habitat along a creek in this particular watershed because we have facilities on the Susquehanna River and we're concerned about nutrient loading to Chesapeake Bay. The second reason, we wanted to further test the model that had been developed by WRI to measure the nutrient and sediment loading that is, I guess, prevented from entering the watershed because of the tree planting. And the third reason is we wanted to capture or estimate the amount of carbon dioxide that will be sequestered from these trees and shrubs. We know that it'll be a long period of time, but over the maturity of these trees, roughly 25 years, we expect to sequester 3 metric tons of CO2, and every little bit helps.
Hi, my name's Todd Trout. I teach chemistry at Lancaster Country Day School, and I'm a member of the board of the Little Conestoga Watershed Alliance. These kinds of activities, such as today's riparian buffer planting, has been a really big boost for community service outreach for students at our school and to show the students and the teachers how we can apply what we teach in the classroom to real-world situations. The tree planting today has brought together people from Lancaster General Hospital, Exelon, Pennsylvania Environmental Council, the Little Conestoga Watershed Alliance, local schools like mine and Millersville University, Cub Scouts, and it's just a great way to give back to the community and teach students about riparian buffer zones and carbon sequestration. And over the years, we've probably done 14 plantings with the Little Conestoga Watershed Alliance, our school, Lancaster Country Day, and I think we've really planted a seed with those kids as to what's important for the future. So it's been great.
Hi, we're talking with Danielle Lukens from Lancaster County Country Day School, and she's a volunteer here, but she's also a senior with an interesting senior project not too far away from our riparian buffer project here today. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, last spring we had a tree planting just across the street, and currently myself and another senior are working on tracking the survivability rate of all the trees, and we're going to track just how far away they are from the stream and the conditions of the soil and everything, and see which trees survive where, and hopefully that'll help for future tree plantings.
So this isn't your first riparian buffer project?
No, no.
What kind of benefits do you get to the environment of buffer projects? I mean, why plant all these trees?
Well, it definitely helps take CO2 out of the atmosphere and put oxygen back into it with all the trees, and it also helps the stream quality as well. It'll put more dissolved oxygen into the water and help make it less acidic, and just pretty much the overall quality of the stream and all the inhabitants of the stream.
There were a lot of students out here today, and it was a lot of fun to do this, but you also learned a little bit. Would you come out and do a project like this again?
Yeah, oh definitely. This is, I think, my 5th or 6th tree planting, so it's always fun to come out. I really enjoy it. Always learn how to dig a better hole.
So you're a senior in high school. What
Yes.
are your plans for college? You think you get into something related to the environment for college?
I hope to go into environmental science, and I'm looking up in University of Vermont. So I'm looking. They have a good program there, so hopefully I'll continue my environmental interests up there.
That's great, Danielle. Thanks very much. Senator Brubaker, thanks for coming out today, this project. You've been in a couple projects like this before. How important do you think projects like this are to water quality and Lancaster and the environment?
Well, thanks for pulling me aside. This is a fantastic project. We have, I don't know if there's 50 students or 100 students today here on site, but it's very, very inspiring. Twofold gain is from my perspective. One, of course, is to the environment. Planting trees, I believe it's about over 600 trees that are going to be planted here today. But two, and not an insignificant number two, is the student involvement, the young people involvement. I talked to a number of students here that planted their very first tree ever today right here on this site. So they've been inspired by their teachers, inspired by their colleagues and partners to come out here today and volunteer their time and learn and get connected with the environment. It's that connectedness, in my opinion, between young people and the environment that's critical. And if these kind of projects can inspire young people to get their hands dirty, to dig into projects like this, our environment's going to be better and our young people are going to be more informed and enthused about protecting our environment in the future.
This project involved a lot of different partnerships, particularly with private industry. How important do you think those kinds of partnerships are to advancing environmental quality?
I believe partnerships, number one, is an overused word, and it's unfortunate because we state them sometimes when the true partnership does not exist. And on this site, a true partnership does exist, where we have corporations, we have nonprofit organizations, we have students, we have local volunteers from the community, all coming together for a single purpose, not to promote their own personal objective, but to make this particular environment a better place. And students pick up on that. They understand, they see that the corporation, the people with the corporate shirts right here digging in, and they begin to realize that corporations aren't some obscure, profit-making entity without a name and a face, but they're people too. And many people within these large corporations care about the environment as much as I do, as much as people watching this video do. So I think it's very inspiring.
Very good. Thanks very much for coming out.
It's been my pleasure to be here.
Hi, we're here with Dr. Julie Ambler from Millersville University, but she also wears another hat. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Oh, I'm a member of the Little Conestoga Watershed Alliance, a citizens group, and one of the main activities we do is work on riparian buffers in the Little Conestoga Watershed.
Well, this is obviously a riparian buffer in progress.
Exactly.
And can you tell me a little bit about the project here and why the Alliance is involved and why you're here today?
Oh, okay. Actually, the Alliance was asked to coordinate volunteers and work on this project. We were asked by the Pennsylvania Environmental Council, and they were asked by Exelon and Lancaster General Hospital. And Exelon's role in it was to get carbon sequestration credits by planting trees, and Lancaster General is actually getting nutrient credits for putting trees, so not as many nutrients actually go in the stream here. So it's and then there's actually an agreement of Lancaster General with the Lancaster Conservancy for 25 years to maintain this area. So we're out here today to plant the trees, put tree shelters on, increase survivability of the trees. The trees don't get eaten by deer. These tree tubes work like little greenhouses, so the trees are going to grow straight up rather than branching out. They're going to get taller and taller, so they'll get so tall the deer can't eat them, and so they're really a good deal. Increases the survivorship of the trees.
How many different buffer plantings has the Alliance been involved with?
Oh, the Alliance has been going for, I would say, I'm trying to think how long we've actually. Probably almost 10 years. I'd have to check on that. But I would say probably at least a dozen different plantings and projects. We get growing greener grants and various, we still do get growing greener grants, but we also get things like this Exelon deal. So it's been very good. One thing we're emphasizing more now is maintenance of the buffer. So either having the landowner have agreements with landowners that they'll maintain it, or in some areas we go back and try to work on them. Because that's really important. You put all this effort into planting the trees. You want to make sure they're going to grow, and you haven't wasted your money and your time.
So you really are planning for the future.
You're planning for the future, yeah.
Well, that's great. Thanks very much.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, plant a tree!